Hey everyone, Dr. Jaime here with the Dr. Jaime Show. You are about to listen to content that has the opportunity to increase your success, happiness, and overall likability. Now that sounds like some serious fun, but before we jump into the content, do me a favor, subscribe to the Dr. Jaime Show. Every subscription, every download, every like, every follow keeps this show bringing on amazing guests for you. And now, off to success, happiness, and likability. Dr. Jaime here with one of my favorite inspirational people, Jordan Harbinger. After hosting a podcast for 11 years, regularly in the iTunes Top 50 and downloaded over 4 million times a month, Jordan is now host of the Jordan Harbinger Show. Jordan's show is in the iTunes Top 100 after just a few weeks. His show gets deep into the untapped wisdom of the world's top performers. Jordan has interviewed Russell Brand, Shaquille O'Neal, Simon Sinek, Mike Rowe, Larry King, Tony Hawk. You name them, he's interviewed them. Jordan is a former Wall Street attorney who speaks 5 languages and was kidnapped twice. He'll tell you the only reason he's still alive and kicking is because of his ability to talk his way into and out of just about any type of situation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jordan Harbinger. Hey, Jordan, welcome to the Dr. Jaime Show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Doc.
Yeah, okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about your top 3 tips to create a great network. But before we jump into those tips, why is it even important to have a great network?
Right, so a lot of people don't really realize this, but if you don't have great relationships around you, really you're kind of saying, I'm going to do everything myself, or I'm going to only have people in my organization help me. I don't need help from anyone else. And there's a lot of things wrong with that. And I probably don't have to explain that to a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, but I'll frame it like this. If you find yourself having to start over, pivot, do something new, you want to get into a different industry, you find a problem that you hadn't anticipated, which are all near certainties over the course of the life of a business owner, entrepreneur, or anybody for that matter, you're going to have your skills, you're going to have your natural talent, which we know is kind of like the smallest percentage of getting anything done, right? There are cliches about that. And you're going to have the people around you. So unless you plan on doing everything alone or just relying on your natural talent, in which case, best of luck, you really do need to have people around you. And the best way to do that is to be digging the well before you're thirsty and creating that active, healthy network from the get-go. Instead of doing things like, well, I'll start this process after I get my website up, or I'll start this process after I do a prototype, or I don't need this because I work for such and such and I'm going to work here forever. I don't think anybody truly believes that wherever they work right now is going to be where they are for the rest of their entire life without any changes. And if you do, you might have a rude awakening coming in your near future.
Well, and as you're talking, it reminds me of this saying, your network equals your net worth. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but that's so true. Like who you surround yourself with, those people can bring you up. They can give you more opportunity. So, all right. So what is your first tip on creating a great network?
Sure. So the first thing, I think I mentioned this earlier in some form, dig the well before you're thirsty. What that means is you have to start creating these relationships really early on. You can't wait until you need them. It's like putting a spare tire in the trunk of your car. If you wait until you need that tire, it's obviously too late. But for some reason, we don't seem to think of this happening in our relationships, which is kind of silly. We seem to think that we can just call on people when we need them. And this doesn't make any sense. Think about this. Who are you more likely to help? Somebody that you're friends with, that you've spoken to a few times or several times, or somebody who cold emails you out of the blue and says, hey, I need a job, or hey, I'm in trouble. I mean, it's really obvious when we think about it from that perspective. And yet for some reason, we never think, oh, I have to reach out to this person and they're probably going to say no because I've never spoken to them. We never think about it in the outgoing sense. So we have to learn these skills and dig that well before we're thirsty. We're not immune to the consequences if we don't do this. We're just being willfully ignorant of the secret game that's being played around us. And then you're going to start saying things like, well, it's all about who you know. That's why so-and-so got promoted over me. People should be saying that about you, not the other way around.
Yeah, that's absolutely an excuse. So create relationships early on. I think that's so important. And also recognizing, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, you need help. It's okay to have help. You're really great at what you do, but you might need someone that does X or does Y or does Z that you don't do. Pull those people in much quicker. You will get to success. Okay, tip number 2 on how to create a great network.
Sure. So the second tip that I have is, have you ever heard always be closing ABC? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Is that come across? So this is from a movie, Glengarry Glen Ross, and it's like this sales technique, right? ABC, always be closing. Well, I prefer ABG, always be giving or always be generous. And so what this means is essentially that you should always be giving and helping other people without the attachment of anything in return. And the reason that this is important is I think a lot of people go, well, I don't really have anything that I need from Dr. Jaime, so I'm not going to reach out. I don't really have anything that I need from Jordan, so I'm not going to reach out. That's the wrong mindset to have. What I should be thinking is, how can I help Dr. Jaime? Who can I introduce her to? What does she need? And not thinking about what's in it for me. Because if I'm only thinking about what's in it for me, I'm going to miss the majority of the opportunities to actually add value to my network. And that's a problem, because that means that only when I need something or when I can think of something am I going to reach out to you. And that becomes really transactional and transparent. So if I'm like, hey, Dr. Jaime, what's up? Just thinking of you. You're like, oh, hey, what a pleasant surprise to hear from you. And I'm like, by the way, I need something. Then you go, oh, I get it. And then when I reach out again in a year, I say, hey, what's up? I haven't talked to you in a while. And you go, what does this schlep want?
Yeah.
Right? Because I've only reached out to you when I need something. On the other hand, if I'm reaching out to other people and I'm helping all the time, then when I do need something, people are like, oh, finally, I get a chance to actually help Jordan back because he's been helping me out over the period of years and, never really asked for anything. That's actually really huge. We call that accumulation of social capital. So if you're looking to help other people instead of just looking for what's in it for yourself, it won't be a problem to reach out, and you won't have to worry or be embarrassed. People go, well, I'm a little shy. I don't want to reach out. It's really not something you need to be shy about if you're reaching out to say, hey, I have an idea and I think it can help you, or I want to introduce you to somebody, or I noticed you're doing something weird on your podcast and I've been podcasting for 11 years. Maybe I can help with this. It's not weird to reach out and say that. However, it can be awkward to reach out and go, hey, I haven't talked with you for 3 years, but I have a book now. Can you sell it to your list? Right? That's why people feel embarrassed, because they're reaching out knowing that they're asking for something and knowing that they really don't deserve the help a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that reminds me too, sometimes I would go to networking events and someone would come up and be like, oh, tell me a little bit about you. And then I'm about to speak and they give me their card, they shove it in my face, and then they tell me everything about them and what they do. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And that's part of the very basic of the ABG, or AB giving. Okay. All right. So your final tip on creating a great network would be?
My final tip is that you should not keep score. A lot of people do this. And what this means is, you might be doing the ABG thing, and I'm like, oh, I've helped Dr. Jaime with a podcast, and I drove her to the airport, and then, I sold her book to my friend, and then I introduced her to my accountant, all this stuff. And then one day, I'm like, hey, I want something from you. I really need you to sell my book on toenail fungus to your audience. And you're like, I don't know. Toenail fungus, not really a good fit. Well, you are a doctor. Maybe it is. But let's pick used cars. I don't know, Jordan, your book on used cars, not really a good fit for my audience. And instead of me saying, yeah, I understand that, I go, I can't believe her. She's terrible. What an awful person. I helped her get to the airport, and I helped her with her stupid book, and I helped her with her podcast. I can't believe it. The reason this is happening is because I'm keeping score. I actually created in my head what I call a covert contract, an agreement where you didn't know you were in an agreement with me. You didn't know we had a quid pro quo. So I'm thinking, oh, I've helped her out so much, she totally owes me one. So that when you say, hey, you know what, I really can't do this, it doesn't make any sense, I get really mad. And the next time you say, hey, Jordan, let's go out for coffee, I'm not thinking, great, my friend Dr. Jaime wants to take me out for coffee. I'm thinking, you know what? Screw you. You didn't help me. I hate you. We're not friends anymore. And you go, wow, Jordan's a crazy person. What provoked that reaction? I don't understand at all. And the reason is because I was keeping score, which poisoned our relationship, except all of that only happened in my own head. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I love covert contracts. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm writing an article on covert contracts because I think we all do it. We all keep score all the time. As husband and wife, if my husband's listening right now, I find myself keeping score. I got to stop that. And I think listeners, we need to stop that. We might do that in multiple areas of life. No more covert contracts. I love it. So if we want to create a great network, dig well before we're thirsty, be giving, and not keep score. Is that right, Jordan?
Yep, those sound like the notes. Yeah.
Awesome. Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the Dr. Jaime Show. If people want to find more information out about you, where can they go?
Sure. I'm at the Jordan Harbinger Show. That's my podcast. I'm also at advancedhumandynamics.com. On advancedhumandynamics.com, we have weeks and weeks of these sort of networking drills to get people out of their shell, create better relationships for business and personal reasons. So if people want to go to advancedhumandynamics.com, they can find a lot more just like this.
All right, everyone, go there, follow Jordan, subscribe to his show, The Jordan Harbinger Show. Thanks again, Jordan. And you can find out more about this show by reading the show notes and going to drjaimik.com. Hey everyone, Dr. Jaime here with the Dr. Jaime Show. And if you or anyone you know has stank breath, then you need to listen up because you are in luck. This episode is sponsored by Fly Mouthwash. Fly Mouthwash is a first of its kind portable concentrated mouthwash that gives you the power to turn water into a great tasting, effective mouthwash. Let me tell you, this mouthwash tastes delicious. You're going to want to drink it, but don't drink it. Spit it out. It is mouthwash, and it has 60 uses in every pocket-sized bottle. So don't be afraid to tell that one friend of yours, you know who I'm talking about, to go ahead and give it a try. If you want to find out more about Fly Mouthwash, go to flymouthwash.com. Thank you so much for listening to the Dr. Jaime Show audio experience. I really hope that you enjoyed the tips and advice given on today's segment. Do me a favor and go to iTunes and my YouTube, and please subscribe to that channel. Every subscribe, every like, every follow helps the Dr. Jaime Show grow so that we can bring you the best guests and the best content possible. And of course, as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to leave that as well. Talk to you soon.